Fast Eddie Constantine, Pro MMA, here with Pro MMA friend and fan favorite Luke Rockhold. Luke, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing pretty good, you know. I'm just coming to support everybody here, you know, and Dave and boys, VIP training, Anthony, Steve, everybody. It's looking like a good place.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is definitely a very nice academy, and you know, you've been a Dave Camarillo student for a while now. Recently achieved your brown belt in Guerrilla Jiu Jitsu. Tell us a little bit about what Dave has meant to you as a martial artist.
You know, Dave is someone that, you know, I have a lot of respect for, you know. The black belt that'll put it on the line, you know, he'll come train with anybody, you know. There's a lot of guys that, you know, have their black belts and they do most of their time teaching and pointing and doing their thing. Dave's the guy, he engages and he gets in there and you know, and he'll train with the biggest guys, you know. He's a small guy, you know. You'll see him get in there with a cane and throw down. So, you know, Dave's and his whole philosophy and staying on top, he's changed a lot of my game, and you know, and I got nothing but respect, and you know, and I just try to learn what I can from Dave. You know, he's a great guy, a great person, great coach, you know, all around. Definitely.
Now, again, being a Guerrilla Jiu Jitsu brown belt, what is a unique experience, you know, that you've had on the mats with Dave? Again, being, you know, you are a lot bigger than him, and the first time you rolled with him, what was that experience like?
The first time I rolled Dave, definitely, he's got a fast armbar, that's for sure. And, you know, it was, you know, probably about 3 years ago or so. He slapped like 3 arm bars on me real quick. You know, I'd never been used to someone's speed at that time, and it took me a while to gauge him. But he's quick and technical, and you know, and I think one of the fastest arm bars in the game. That's from what I've trained with a lot of people, and he's got it for sure. He's one of the best, definitely.
That definitely seems to be the theme of the day, is Dave Camarillo and the armbar, whether it's speaking to his brother, the many students that we have here. But again, back to you a little bit. Coming off your recent victory, beating Corey Davella in lightning quick fashion. It was a very dominating performance for you, but we know you hurt yourself a little bit afterwards. How is that process going? How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling good now. You know, it's ligament damage. It's like, you know, you get to a certain point where it's good. You know, it hurts a little bit now, but for the most part, I've gotten through everything, and it's, you know, I'd say it's like 85–90%. You know, torn ligament, and you know, I'm doing everything. It's just, you know, I think eventually it'll get 100%. You know, over time. I've had other injuries very similar, and so, you know, just give it a, you know, it's not gonna, you know, harm me in the future in my next fight. You know, about 6 weeks from now. So. You know, that's that. You know, actually, the first day I came back from that, I ended up kicking an elbow and tearing a ligament in my foot. So I'm just getting back to training from that, you know, right away. So one after another, things always happen. This is MMA, but you know, I'm finally ready to train. I got 6 weeks of, you know, I'm pretty much healthy for the most part, and I'm full contact. It's all going down, and I'm looking forward to just, you know, getting this 6 weeks out of the way and just getting back to the fight. You know, it's been a long time, feels like already, and I'm ready to go. That's all I can say. I don't know. I'm ready.
Outstanding. Now, obviously, again, you are an MMA fighter, but have you looked at or thought about doing grappling competitions, whether it's in the gi, without the gi, to help, you know, sharpen some of those tools when you can't really do 100% MMA training?
Yeah, you know, if I'm healthy enough to do a tournament of that sort, yes, I'd love to. But you know, it's like I have to pay to do those tournaments, and I get paid to fight. So when it comes down to it, I got to take the fight when the fight comes. But if I have the time to train and I have this little off time, I'd like to do these tournaments. You know, mostly some of the bigger tournaments. I definitely am dedicated to doing the next year the Brown Belt World Championships, the gi and everything, and so that's something I want to do. You know, I got a couple World Championships, one at blue and one at purple, and I'd love to have one at brown. So that's my goal right now, and I'm gonna get my fights out of the way, and I want to try to get into that tournament and kick some ass, take some names. So that's one thing I'd like to do, definitely in the near future.
And then shortly thereafter, ideally, would come a Guerrilla Jiu Jitsu black belt, right?
You know, that, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. You know, there is a tradition sometimes. You win the worlds, but it might be a little different from brown to black. It's usually a tradition to get it from, you know, blue. If you win the blue, you get the purple, you know, and you win the purple, you get the, you know. Sometimes, usually it works like that for the most part, for a lot of categories. But brown to black is a little different, and, you know, I don't know. I'm just going to keep training. I have a lot of technique I need to clean up. I don't think I'm a black belt level, and even if I could, hang with a lot of black belts, I think for me, there's a lot of holes in my game, I feel, and I need to definitely go back to basics. Sometimes I try to get too far ahead, and I use my athletic ability and my wrestling and my flexibility. I get awkward. I have really good scrambles, but for the most part, I need to buckle down and get back to technique and get basics a lot of the time. Sometimes I try to jump ahead too far. I think a lot of people just need to step back and start it. Hey, don't jump to B and C, and get back to the start and focus on the basics first, and that gets you to the top.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And again, that's one of the fundamentals of Guerrilla Jiu Jitsu is really to have that mastering of the basics. So, Luke Rockhold, thanks for taking the time and joining us here at Pro MMA.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys soon.